It'll be 1 to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Okay, we'll go Jerry, Claire, and then gentleman on the back row.
Jerry Bunkowski, Yahoo Sports. Jeff, to follow up on Eddie's question earlier, from a personal standpoint, for you, I know you're a guy that believes in progress, but if and when this place may or may not lose a race down the road, we hear that Kansas.
Did you say Eddie? Did
Eddie
you call
Hinton.
him Eddie? You're Eddie
with,
in my
with,
book
with
from now on.
With due respect. With all due respect.
Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie. Oh, man. I tell you what.
Okay,
it's
Eddie
never
the plumber
gonna be the
then,
same
okay?
for me. Fast Eddie. Okay, sorry.
Okay, that's all right. You know, you obviously always believe in progress in the sport, but at the same time, this place has meant so much to you personally. A lot of talk about, you know, Kansas may want to get a second date. Where do they take it from? Martinsville's always the one that seems to be coming up, Pocono or another. What would it mean to you for this place to lose a race, personally?
Oh, obviously, I'd be very disappointed. You know, I feel like this is one of my best tracks. You know, facility-wise, you know, the history that's here is obviously important. But you look at these other new big facilities and what they do to the cities, you know, that surround them and in the marketplace and all those things. That's all great, but you know, we got to preserve these types of events and tracks. And you know, I just wish that when a new venue was being created, that they thought about the short tracks. You know, that they built a half-mile or a three-quarter-mile racetrack instead of a mile and a half. I know from a business model, the mile and a halves, I think, are built because they seem to be able to collect, you know, the most money to be able to keep the tracks, you know, going and healthy. And hey, business is business. I get that, but we got to figure out a way to keep these types of tracks, you know, on the circuit, in the chase. You know, and I would love for it to be Martinsville, but you know, if a new racetrack's being built out there, I plead to whoever might be building that track, let's build some short tracks. And to those that, you know, might be getting a second date, you know, let's not take away a short track to put a mile and a half track, you know, another mile and a half track into the chase.
We'll go Claire, back row, and Jim Noble.
Claire B. Lang, XM Satellite Radio. Jeff, whenever it rains, especially during the chase, and we see qualifying going to be rained out, fans and everybody debates if there's a better way to do qualifying. You know, why we don't put it on Saturday. NASCAR explains that. Do you know any better way or fairer way for qualifying related to a chase going on and it raining out qualifying again?
I can think of a lot of better ways to qualify, but won't change when the weather comes. You know, we can't do anything about qualifying in the rain. I think that race practice is more important, you know, on a Saturday than getting qualifying in, except for my friend David over here when we talked about what happens outside the top 35. I think the guys outside the top 35 points should qualify on Saturday when it rains on Friday if it's possible. I think that you know, is something that is a little more fair to those guys. You're sending people home. You know, it's a little different for us in the points. You know, we're in the show, even though we'd like to qualify to better or take a chance at better in our position. At least we're in the show. So those guys are outside the show. I think a little bit different deal. But you know, I mean, I'm a big Formula One fan. I see knockout qualifying, and I think it's very exciting. I'd love to see us go to something like that on our road course races. I don't know how we could do it on our other tracks, but I also think that on the big 2.5 mile tracks, I think qualifying is absolutely boring there. 2 laps. These cars now get up to speed in 1 lap. I think we could at least knock it down to 1 lap qualifying. If not, maybe come up with something a little bit more entertaining and exciting as well. But can't do anything about the weather.
Okay, gentleman in the back row had a question. Then we got Jim Noble, David, and Bob, and then we'll let Jeff go and get Dale Jr. and Greg up here. Go ahead in back row.
Jay Pennell, HardcoreRaceFans.com. Jeff, you finished 4th in Kansas. You were pretty sick there. You finished 8th at Lowe's with the contact in the wall. What does that say about your team as a serious chase contender? Even though you're 245 points back, still got 5 races to go. How do you see yourselves going forward in the chase?
Well, we're progressing. There's no doubt about it. I think the last 2 mile and a halves have proved that. Or they're progressing. Maybe I'm not, but I think that we're just not a team that lays down and gives up. We always constantly work to get better. Unfortunately, this season has taken us a lot longer than it should have to get ourselves where we need to be competitive enough to be higher up in the points and win that race that we haven't gotten so far this year. I was really disappointed last week that I got into the wall not once but twice because that car was so good. I mean, we had an awesome race car, and we proved that throughout the race to be able to come back like we did. But it just seems this has just been one of those years where when we've got the car, either I make a mistake or something bites us. When we don't have when we have everything else going right, we can't seem to get the car that we need. So it's definitely been a frustrating, challenging year for us, in a lot of ways. And it's just something for us to continue to work at improving, not only for this season but also for next season.
We'll go Jim Noble, David, and Bob, and then we'll let Jeff go. Go ahead.
Actually, if any of the 3 guys want to answer this, just the new race car, especially at this track, the way the bumpers match up, has it changed the way you guys race at Martinsville? Because, Jeff, I remember the race where you knocked Jimmy all over the place and couldn't get by him with a faster car. How much has the new car changed the way you race here?
Yeah, I mean, this is not a place where aerodynamics play, much of a role, but yet, with this car, they seem to affect the cars around them even more, than before. So you've got a little bit of an issue where you can be faster than the guy, and you're going to get a little bit of an arrow push when you come up behind him, more so than the old car. And then, because the bumpers line up, you can hit them. But before, it just took a little tiny tap because you were lifting the back of the cars up, and so it didn't take much. With this car, I mean, I hit Jimmy as hard as I felt like I could without damaging my front bumper, and even at the end, I didn't even care about damaging my front bumper, and it still didn't move him out of the way. So obviously, we get in that same situation. That this time we're going to have to rethink, or I'm going to have to rethink how you go about it, because running into the back of them, doesn't, unless you do it real early on entry, isn't really going to do much.